So if you're anything like me, you've probably been playing far too much Elden Ring over the past few days. And also if you're anything like me, then you're probably getting your butt kicked quite often at the minute in the game. And so in today's video, I'm going to show you guys a very powerful relic that you can get right from the get-go, as long as you put just a little bit of time and effort into getting this relic. So what relic is it? Well, the relic is something called the Fell Omen Fetish, and this gives your weapons an attack power boost whenever you swap weapons. So just swapping to a different weapon is going to give our character a attack power boost for around about 10 seconds. And this is obviously super helpful when you're running through the lands between, trying to fight those Night Lords. So as you can see here, I'm swapping to different weapons, and you can pretty much have 100% uptime on this buff, providing you're at least swapping weapons occasionally, which isn't really too difficult to do because in Elden Ring you're going to be gathering a lot of weapons as is, so swapping to different ones to have different weapon arts and stuff like that is going to be useful anyway. So this relic is definitely a pretty good one to have, and you can get it right from the get-go. So how do you get this relic? Well, this relic is obtained from actually killing Marget, the very first tutorial boss in Elden Ring Night Rain. Now, it is Elden Ring, so in traditional Souls-like fashion, this boss is kind of hard to kill and will generally kick your butt first time. But as soon as you got a little bit of experience in the game, you can actually go and re-kill this boss. If you head over to the visual codex, now you can do this by walking into this area or the hold, or alternatively just teleporting over to the visual codex using your map menu, heading down to the guide, and the very first selection on the guide is what the tutorial is. And you can see here that it says, also while this explanation is displayed, press X to replay the initial gameplay tutorial. And you can go ahead and do this to replay the very first mission, and this time round, hopefully try and take Marget out. So I am going to just give you a quick breakdown of the run through the tutorial area. There are a few enemies to kill on the way up to the boss, and these are all very good to kill because providing you take out all of these optional enemies, there is a site of grace just outside of the boss arena that you can sit at, and this will allow you to get from level 5 to level 6, which is obviously going to be super helpful, as well as a bunch of chests on the way, which you should be opening every single one of these. They are all static drops, so they will give you the same item every time you open them, and you should be picking up every single one of these items, even if it's just for the passives that they provide you and not necessarily to use them. However, I would recommend using the Cold Cutter weapon, as the Hoarfrost Stomp Asher War is incredibly strong for dealing percentage damage with the Frostbite. And also, my strategy was to hold Rager's Rapier in my left hand to get those periodic Glint Blade Phalanx spawns to happen, which is just going to provide us with a steady source of damage throughout the Marget fight. There is also a chest that contains some consumables, namely a Lightning Grease, Firebomb, and Warming Stone. Pick all these up and just apply the buff to your weapons and throw the Firebomb at Marget for a little bit of extra damage. So make sure to grab all these. Then you're going to want to sit at the site of grace, level up, head over, revive Duchess, and make sure if you can to keep her alive for as much of the fight as possible, because she can actually revive you during the Marget fight, and also she will provide a decent portion of damage to Marget, so obviously that's going to be super helpful as well. The Marget fight is pretty tricky. You will see a lot of familiar moves where he does these big slams with his spirit hammers and the spirit knives, as well as the spirit spear. That's a lot of spirits, but you should be able to get it down, providing that you do just have a little bit of patience and let the Glint Blades do their work, as well as spamming your ultimate as much as possible, and make sure to use all of your Estus Flasks. So even if you die a single time, you will revive just outside the arena, one level down, so you'll revive at level 5, so you do have 2 attempts at this. I would personally recommend using Wilder for this fight as well, because of his passive, which allows you to cheat death a single time. And if you die, it also reprocs his passive again. So technically, you can actually die 4 times in this fight with Wilder, which should make it a little bit easier to complete. So head back in and try not to choke it for the second time, otherwise you will have to restart the tutorial from the start. But with enough trial and error and getting your ass kicked by this guy multiple times, you should eventually be able to take him down. And once you do so, you can go ahead and head to the back of the arena and take a seat upon the throne, showing that you have indeed beaten the tutorial in Elden Ring Night Rain. And for your troubles, you will be rewarded with the Fell Omen Fetish Relic, which, like we said at the start of the video, is an incredibly powerful relic to get, and one that is actually accessible right from the start of the game. And since we're already OP as hell now, why not make ourselves a little bit more OP? If you've managed to get to the point where you've beaten the Night Lord and done a bunch of the other activities, you have probably got yourself a lot of very good relics. One in particular is the Knight of the Lord, which is going to pair excellently with the Fell Omen Fetish, as well as the Giant's Cradle Chalice, which allows us to slot 3 blue relics here. So if we slot the Fell Omen's Fetish, which is obviously giving us that attack power bonus for swapping weapons, we can also then slot the Night Lord's Relic, which is going to give us those affinities, give us those weapon greases whenever we swap our weapons also, which feeds back into that attack power when swapping our weapons. And then we can also put in one of these Grand Drizzly relics, and this is going to mean that our starting weapon inflicts blood loss as well. So now we have a weapon right from the get-go on our expeditions that is going to be coated in a random grease every time we swap to it, is going to have an attack power bonus every time we swap to it, and is also going to inflict blood loss. So as you can tell, that is pretty strong and should make your time beating some of these bosses a little bit easier. Obviously this here is more of an endgame build, but the fetish right from the start is going to be crazy strong, so make sure to take advantage of that as much as you can. And so that's going to be about it from me today, guys. If you did enjoy this video, please be sure to like and subscribe, and feel free to join my Discord. There is a link in the description down below. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.